Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti. It is good to see you on this Wednesday. Let's take a look outside. We have Thomas Patrick. He's standing by in the Outdoor Weather Center. Thomas, what do you know? It has been just a weird, rainy, gray start to winter and the season. Is anything changing?
Yeah, funny enough, it's not changing because this atmospheric river that's at play, it's the thing that's giving us the wind, the rain, and the warm weather, actually is going to stay this way not only all this week, but possibly all next week as well. But not to get too far ahead of myself, today is about the wind, as it's going to start to get pretty feisty this afternoon. Wind advisories go until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, maximum wind speeds 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's the threshold where we think that power outages and tree damage is possible. Maybe not widespread, maybe not like a really terrific area or a prolific area in the inland Northwest. However, these wind speeds certainly can do some damage. We've already recorded 51 mile per hour wind gusts in Pullman and just shy of that 58 mile per hour mark in Spokane. And I still think these are going to increase and accelerate into the afternoon. Furthermore, it's still kind of drizzling, but not enough to use an umbrella. And honestly, if you are, you have to hold it almost completely sideways because these raindrops are moving straight west to east or left to right across my eye line here, as it is very light rainfall, more than enough to keep everything wet and damp. You'll have to use windshield wipers from that and the spray on the roads. Just looking wet, it's just looking windy today. But additionally, it's also looking quite warm. This whole weather system, again, the atmospheric river, a lot more heavy rain on the west side, getting our fair share of rain and certainly wind today. For the inland Northwest, all in the meantime, this could be one of our warmest days ever in December history. High temperatures in the mid-50s, even with all this cloud cover and all this rain and all this wind. Honestly, it's the wind is the reason why it is so warm outside. So I think these fastest wind speeds will be this afternoon. Coming up, I'll show you when all this finally does calm down and where our temperature trend goes from here, since it will stay quite warm for several days.
All right, appreciate the update, Thomas. We're going to take a live look right now on this rainy Wednesday. There is a crash or accident of some sort. This is along I-90 near Havana Street. And as you can see, they've got those road signs up and some law enforcement is on scene. There is a bit of a backup there. So if you are leaving now headed that way, number one, be prepared for that. As you can see just past a little bit of the Appleway exit sign there. You can see a backup, so slow going, and we want to make sure those vehicles that are out there on the road, the law enforcement, are safe. So go nice and slow as you head on I-90 near Havana. All right, state senators Mark Schessler and Marcus Riccelli have introduced a bipartisan bill that's aimed at making it tougher for serial rapists to be released. The move comes just 2 months after the release of Kevin Coe. Now, under the proposal, if a convicted rapist confined at the Special Commitment Center seeks release and the state can show the offender has refused treatment or shown no remorse, a judge would not be able to order release or a less restrictive placement. The bill is expected to be formally introduced next year when the legislature convenes, and we'll certainly keep you updated on that. Coming in new from overnight, one man is dead, another is hurt after they crashed just outside of Ritzville. Washington State Patrol says the driver of the car was traveling along westbound I-90 when they went off the roadway and hit a post. The driver then overcorrected, causing the car to enter the median, where then it rolled. The driver was taken to a hospital. Sadly, the passenger died at the scene. WSP says the cause of that crash was fatigue. And this is coming in new today. The College of Idaho announcing they will be eliminating 3 majors starting in 2026 for all new students. The private liberal arts school in Caldwell plans to cut theater, communications arts, and philosophy majors. Meantime, they are adding 3 degree programs. So let's take a look at those: biochemistry, finance, and criminology. The school CEO says the changes really reflect enrollment patterns and the market demand. The new changes impact 10 positions. 6 of those are teaching positions.
There's not any perfect timing for that, but it was the best we could do given the timing we needed to be under, and then still have changes in place for the next incoming group of students.
And current students will be allowed to complete their majors. However, many students are not sure who will be teaching them as students say all 3 theater professors were told they are being laid off. We do have some new numbers in today. Americans are moving less. This is according to Point Two Homes. Only 11% of Americans relocated, and this is the lowest number they have on record. However, that national story is not reflected in Idaho. More than 13% of people in Idaho changed their address last year, and that's the 5th highest in the country. Of the 13% of Idahoans that moved, nearly 73,000 people came from out of state. And in certain parts of Idaho, more than 20% of people new came into the area, again, from out of state. While it may seem like a lot of out-of-staters are moving to the Gem State, a vast majority of people in Idaho are moving to different parts of the state. And the majority of those relocating are renters. All right, let's take a look at some video from Snoqualmie. The fall's just pouring out water as the first round of an atmospheric river hit western Washington, causing major flooding and more flooding in Sultan, about 40 miles northeast of Seattle. And as you can see, floodwaters from the Skykomish River are blocking roads. Cars were forced to turn around to avoid being caught up in all of that. So dangerous situation there.